Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Bella, stop pulling me. Sorry, give me 1 second. How is everybody this morning? It is a chilly but beautiful Wednesday morning. Me and the belly butts are taking a walk, and I just thought I would hop on and let you guys know that a couple months ago or so, I posted a couple videos. I wanted to start to tell my life story. I feel that from the age of 16 until now at 48, I have lived, let's say, a very colorful life. Um, you know, People travel on a journey somewhere, and the map will look like, a straight line this way, then that way, the easy way, or, there's the other path where the lines are twisting and turning and squiggly, and it looks 10 times harder. Well, that's the way I went. And I truly, truly feel that the divine, God, universe, universal energy, whatever you want to use as a term for a higher power, that we have a soul contract that we are here to fulfill. I've watched countless and listened to countless NDE or near-death experience biographies, documentaries, people telling their story of what happened to them when they basically died, and the similarities and the correlations between hundreds and thousands of stories is undeniable. So, you know, you just, you gotta wonder every day waking up, like you hear all these horrific things that are happening to people, all these struggles that people are going through, and you gotta think to yourself, do I really have it that bad? Is my life that bad? Or am I just making it that bad by the way I'm choosing to think, the perspective that I'm choosing to keep, not maybe taking, come on, Belle, the necessary steps to learn and grow and to be. God damn you! Why are you so bad today? That is the third time this dog has freaking hurt me today. I'm over it. We're going back, Bella. I'm sorry, but I can't no more. Between the squirrels and whatever you just were pulling me into the bush for, I can't do it no more. So, anyways, several years back, I really started to realize that the perspective that we choose to have, we can change that at any moment. And the first steps of being able to shift a perspective and then to maintain it and keep it as a new perspective, because that's the problem. A lot of us, the majority of us, have been programmed since we've been very young by other people, our parents, governments, friends. And when you have this programming inside of you for years and decades, it's not something that you could just undo overnight. And see, that's the thing is, us as humans, we want everything now. We don't want to wait for shit. We don't want to take the necessary steps or the time that it takes to actually, you stop it, to heal and to make ourselves better. And so you have to remember, just like a smoker, doctors tell you that you smoke for 10 years, it's going to take about 10 years to reverse that and have your body go back to normal. So if you have been through trauma in your life, okay, and you've been through decades of trauma, well then guess what? It is going to take a while for you to undo this. And that's not just by sitting around with your thumb up your butt. This is with doing active healing work, with actually facing and talking about, and maybe bringing up some old emotions that you don't want to feel, but it's necessary in order to let them go, because we've stored them and trapped them in our nervous system by not dealing with them and stuffing them down, thinking they'll just go away if I ignore them. Well, no, that is not how it works, everybody. I hate to break it to you. And also, very important to remember that our thoughts create our reality. Okay? Our thoughts create our reality. Somebody said, I heard a saying that said, your personality creates your personal reality. And when I heard that was a game changer for me. Okay? Now, once you realize that you are tired of living a certain way and you want to shift your perspective, okay? So, next step is to start journaling or telling yourself positive affirmations, okay? And focus on, what is it that I want to change? What is it that I'm not happy with? Maybe catching yourself negative talk. That's another thing. It's very important to remember that words and spelling is like a spell, like to cast a spell. You know, we've gotten so disconnected from things from our ancestry that really makes such a difference that we forgot. And we've gotten trapped in this matrix of people getting programmed in a certain way to think, and then having this be passed down for generations and generations to come. And then before you know it, nobody has a mind of their own anymore. Or if you do start to have a mind of your own, that's another thing. Or if you do decide that you want to shift your perspective, don't share it with anybody. Keep it to yourself in the beginning, because not everybody is going to want to see you happy. So, you know what? I swear to fucking God, I'm done with it, Bella. I'm done with you. I'm done with you today. I'm so done with you today. I'm so done with you. I'm so done with you hurting me. I'm so done with you. I can't. Like, you're just horrible today. Horrible. She's already pulled me on my butt once. Like, horrible. Keep it to yourself, okay? This is you're a work in progress, okay? So we don't want to share anything with anybody until we have actually shifted and are making visible and tangible and energetic progress that you could feel and see, okay? So get a journal. Very important to get a journal. And just to write down how you feel for the day. I'll wake up and I'll just, it doesn't just go with the flow, by what you're feeling. If it's a paragraph, so be it. If it's a sentence, so be it. If it's 3 pages, so be it. This is what's so important about it, because then you can look back and get a feel of when the shift actually started to happen. Actually realizing that, oh my God, I've done it. I've done it. Realizing that everything is so energetically connected, okay? That even if you don't have what you think you may want, a house, a car, whatever it may be, okay? I'm not saying that you do or don't want these things, but let's just say, like, we all want to upgrade ourselves at some point, right? So just because you don't have those things right at this moment doesn't mean that you may not someday. So what's important about, now I'm shifting from perspective shift, is connected with manifestations, okay? Personality creates your personal reality. Your thoughts create your reality. So our subconscious doesn't know the difference from what's really in front of us and what's not. It just knows by the feeling of that thought, okay? So energetically start to feel what it would feel like if you actually had that new car that you wanted, or that new house that you wanted, or whatever your wish may be, okay? Start to incorporate that in your everyday life now at this moment, even if you don't have it, because like I said, your subconscious doesn't know the difference. And keep that feeling. That's what's so important. And I know it's hard. Hang on one second. But I have actually experienced like things for real being manifested, like right before my eyes, just by thoughts I've had in my head. Okay? But you have to keep this up, okay? So, and you know what? We're all human, right? I'm not saying that no one's perfect and that you may have some bad days where, you just can't keep going like with that feeling, and you fall back and you have almost like a perspective or emotional relapse, right? Where you go back into maybe say an old victim mentality that you used to have, or having one of those days where you just kind of you're feeling sorry for yourself. Like I said, we're all human. I get it. I know, and we're not perfect. And so, but just remember that this is what slows down your manifestations. And see, that's what then helps me to remember. Like I remind myself, okay, Melissa, if you're gonna fall back into this mentality, now you know that this is, I'm not gonna say knocking me off course, but it's almost like someone's behind me pulling my shirt back while I'm trying to finish running the race, right? I remind myself of this, and I remind myself of how important it is to keep this perspective, okay, of actually envisioning and actually trying to feel like, okay, say if you found out that a month from now you were going to get a check for $50,000. How would that make you feel inside? Now, take that feeling and incorporate it in your life right at this moment. Right at this moment, like it's actually gonna motherfucking happen. Okay? So be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get a $50, like you get all pumped up about it, like you know that it's gonna save some shit. And then it'll actually happen. Don't worry about how. Don't worry about when, where, this, that. Don't worry about any of the middle steps. Just keep what you want right up here in the front. Live it, feel it, breathe it like it's actually now. Same thing with who do you want to be? What things do you want to change about yourself? Well, then pretend like that's how it is now. Pretend that's who you are now. Feel it. Feel it as if it was real. And then one day it will be. And you'll be like, holy shit, I can't believe that actually happened. Like, I know in the past 2 years of my life, I look back from where the situation I left to where I'm at now. And I've obtained more good things than bad things. And that's another thing you need to do. Okay? Is count your blessings, not your misfortunes. Okay? Keep the blessings in the front and the misfortunes in the back seat. Okay? Remember that you got clean water to drink. Remember that you got legs to get up out your fucking bed with. Remember that you didn't go fight in a war to come back home to be treated like shit from your government and have to deal with that feeling every day. Remember that you're not sitting there dodging bombs right now in other countries because of our fucking world being so fucking greedy. Remember that you got food to eat in your stomach because there's people in 2026 starving to fucking death still. And remember that you always have you. And no matter what anybody says, you are worth all the love in the world. all the love in the world. So, with that said, I am actually, I put my life story out a month or so ago, and I upset a couple people, but I really thought about it, and it's funny because that's another thing why I started thinking about perspective, because those people's perspective on me is so backwards. And it's like, I didn't ask to go through the trauma or the hardships that I did, but they happened, right? And the important thing is, instead of pointing a finger at people's poor choices, or if they had gone through some bumps along their road, not to pass judgment on them, but if they're actually actively trying to be a better person, to acknowledge that, because we are all owed as many chances as it takes to get it right in this life. And as long as you come with love in your heart and compassion for others, and to know that we're all just trying to get through this bullshit rat race every day as best as we know how, and that we all have a different perspective on life. But that doesn't mean we're wrong. Okay? No persecution. No burning people at the stake because they made a mistake. How about embracing them with some love? Maybe the person actually might need a hug. The things that I've gone through in my life, I could look back, and the one thing that I can honestly say and know is that ever since I was little, I always just wanted everybody to love and get along. Kids, growing up, everybody, adults, animals, I just wanted to be surrounded by love. The hate was too heavy on my heart. I used to yell at kids for stepping on ants and killing ants for no reason, okay? So, growing up and then getting into relationships in a marriage, I'm not going to call it a failed marriage, because you know what? There was a lot of times in that marriage that there was a lot of love. And there was a lot of bad things that happened also. But forgiveness is key, and I have forgiven. And that's what other people need to do, is that's the problem. When somebody carries hate or animosity towards you, just know it's because they carry that in their heart, because they haven't forgiven themselves. They haven't come to the understanding of forgiveness, how it sets everybody free. If you don't like the way somebody is or somebody acts, then remove yourself from them. Remove yourself from them until they're understanding that they need to change and heal themselves. But nobody can be responsible for anybody else's change or healing. That's all on us. I know that I contributed to my marriage also, so I don't blame one side or the other. I know that in my previous relationships, same thing there. Was there a lot of hurt? Yes. Was I hurt? Yes. But I was also in it. So I'm not going to blame anybody for that. I've forgiven, and I hope that others will find it in their heart to forgive me. Every time I would get into a serious relationship with anybody, I always saw the good in the person and always kind of covered the bad to the side. It's always easy for us to laugh when we first meet somebody, but what about when the times become hard? I know that I brought a lot of unhealed energy to my marriage because I wasn't healed from the things that I went through as a child and in my previous relationships before I got married. So that's why the things ended up eventually not working, because I wasn't healed either. But I understand this now, and I've taken the steps, and I'm still taking the steps to work through things that I need to feel, forgive, and let it fly away in the wind back to source. use my pain for power. Understand that at the end of the day, love is really the healing answer. And that's all I ever wanted. And that was all I ever wanted as a child also. So that's why it was pretty hard when my parents divorced. I think it's hard on any kid, but then it's also hard when a parent shuts down. And then, when that parent isn't able to be there emotionally for a while, or maybe ever, and trying to navigate my own way from a very young age, this is why I realize now I've had the bumps in my journey, like I said in the beginning. This is why I've taken that long route, because I saw the good in everybody, thinking that I could bring that love out. If I loved harder, I could make that hate go away. But now I understand that that was not my job. I had to make my own pain go away on my own and heal, being able to speak up for myself when I don't like something or like somebody. That was very hard for me as a child, because I just held my head low and took it from everybody, because I just didn't want anybody fighting or hating. I just wanted to be surrounded by love. So I thought if I loved harder, then everything will work out. Not realizing that it was just draining me more and more and more, because I never had anybody filling my cup. And I allowed it. Nobody else but me. That's nice. There's nothing even in there. And I don't know if I mentioned or not, I had put out some videos, I think I did, that made some family members upset. And I removed them. And I'm thinking of reposting them, because who are other people to tell me what I went through and what I felt in my life? That's exactly the old me that held my head low and took it. Okay, I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want the videos and the truth that's coming out of my life that I went through, that I felt, to upset anybody. So sorry. So sorry that right now I choose to sleep in my car to save up money so I could get a house, so I could be with my kids again after going through a very tough divorce in the last 2 years. Sorry that that's embarrassing for you. Sorry that my real life that I live right now is embarrassing for you. No. Those are the exact things and people that held me back my whole life. Being mean and judgmental towards me. So I'll just be like, sorry, you're right. Sorry that I don't look a certain way right now because I've been trying to survive the last couple years of my life. Sorry that what's coming out of my mouth isn't sufficient for your ears. Then how about let's just not listen then? How about then you just let me relate with other people then, that maybe I can help, because that's all I wanted to do my whole life, like I've just said. So then I help and I help and I help and I give and I give and I give and I love and I love and I love until my face is flat in the fucking dirt. Well, guess what? No more. No more. I'm gonna do what is gonna help me in my life progress, so I can obtain a goal that I finally have made for myself in the first time in my life, that I'm able to set a goal and actually try. At least I'm trying to obtain that goal right now. without having anybody pulling on my fucking coattails, yanking me down, holding my suspenders from the back, trying to stop me from winning my fucking race. No more. No more. I refuse. I refuse to let others hinder me from where I'm supposed to go. That's exactly why I'm here, because I've allowed it, and I'm not allowing it anymore. Don't ever allow. And I preached it to my daughters. You should never, ever be fearful to say how you feel inside to anybody at any time. And that was my problem for the first half of my fucking life, is that my parents, after my parents got divorced, my mother, I was so afraid of her, and I was so afraid of speaking my mind. So I didn't. And I held it in until I fucking couldn't hold it in anymore. And then how did it come out? Rebellion. I rebelled. I got pregnant at 16. I rebelled because she held me back emotionally. She was my cheerleading coach. There was little glimpses of actually maybe seeing that mother that I always craved, that I always wanted, that love that hug, that when you get a hug and you know somebody really loves you, when they embrace you in their arms. That's what I've been looking for. To know that you could actually trust somebody, that you could just breathe while they hold you. I didn't have that. I didn't need material things. I didn't need this and that and outside. I needed that embrace to know that everything was going to be okay. I walked on eggshells growing up around my mom because she developed so much animosity and resentfulness towards my father for their divorce, and I was an only child. My father was a cheater. Found out later on because growing up I'd always ask my mom why. And she would say, I'll tell you when you're older. And when she finally did, you know, she knew my dad was cheating on her before I was born. But she chose to stay. And then she always blamed my dad. He was always the bad guy. He was always the bad guy. See, that's one thing that I refuse to do. No matter what my ex and I have gone through, I refuse to make him look like a bad guy in front of my kids, because that is their dad at the end of the day, and they love him regardless of what we went through. But my dad was always the bad guy in my mom's eyes, and he was always made to be the bad guy with everybody else, even though she also had a choice to stay, knowing who he was and what he was. My dad has always womanized women the way he looks at them. If I seen it as a child growing up, and the fact that, you know, I caught my father cheating on my mom because, you know, he had her in our kitchen before we went on a bicycle ride up in Vermont. My dad was a big cyclist, so, you know, we went with a group of people, and come on, baby, I'm sorry, come here. We went with a group of people, and the woman that my mom served lunch to was the woman that my dad was cheating on my mom with. And then when we got there, I seen my dad slap a strange lady on the ass, and at 7 years old, you know, you're not stupid. I'm not stupid. I caught my dad cheating on my mom, and then I think that's hilarious. Then people got upset with me because I used the phrase womanizer with my father, that I still talk to all the time now. We're still We've always maintained somewhat of a closeness, but it is what it is. If you're looking at a turkey and you say, "Oh my gosh, that's a rabbit," no, you can't convince anybody because they could clearly see it's a turkey. Okay? So having to grow up and constantly being with my dad, I'm an only child, so it was just us two a lot, and we traveled a lot, constantly seeing my dad, checking other women out with me and talking to other women. People don't realize what I went through and what I lived, and then they want to sit here and persecute me because I'm telling the truth of what I had to go through and what has molded me to be the human that I am standing before you now, partially. So, change your perspective. The next thing I was going to say after that about once you realize what it is you want to change, now you have to practice being present. You have to realize the only moment that you truly have is right now. Not 2 years ago, not 2 years from now. The only moment you really truly have is right now. So practice presence, practice being grateful for being present, for being alive, for breathing, having water, clean water, gratitude, all these things. But I'm going to go for now, guys, and I really appreciate you listening to me rattle off for the last 30 minutes. And I hope I can help anybody or relate with anybody. And remember, you're worth all the love in the world. All of it. And this dad, she just wants to be so bad. She just wants to be so bad. She wants to eat leaves. Okay. Why are you so bad today, huh? Yanking me everywhere. Why are you so bad today, huh? All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Ah.